Have you ever wondered whether time travel could be real? Well, guess what? It is.
Yeah, that's great, bro. Can we make this fast? Because I have things to do.
Okay, but before we start, can we at least introduce the main characters? I mean, there's a lot, and the audience won't understand a word we are saying.
Okay, fine, I'll start. So, these two right here are scientists who made time travel possible. They are Seamus and Davina, who is our sister. So, they go back to the past and put an end to the dictatorship that ruled India. You'll see all that later.
And this was the leader Artemis. Now, this was one scary woman. I actually met her once. It was not a good experience. I mean, she's not a bad person or anything, but you may want to think twice before you say anything to her. Anyway, she's a super smart person.
Right, and these are Isaac and Theo, who were colleagues of Seamus and Davina. They were in the team that created the time travel machine, which was just a wristwatch. Pretty cool, huh?
Okay, pop quiz. Do you know this guy?
Oh, yes, I do know him. He's the father of a.
Our lovely nation, India. And here's the big bag wolf of our story. If you are aware of our lovely history, you would know that she put India in a very difficult situation. However, I won't fully blame her because she was born into a not very nice family and her every move was watched by her family and teachers. I guess growing up in such an environment must have caused her to become evil. There are some people that had a negative impact in Sierra's life. You can see her mom Samantha, her dad Nicholas, her brother Spencer, and her teacher Miss White. Her brother, though, wasn't that bad. He genuinely cared about her, but the rest of them were very controlling. And finally,
Our nieces, Billy and Belle. So that's that. Let's begin.
it was the year 2051. They had invented a perpetual energy source that completely changed what we believed was possible. Yet all was not perfect in this world. People still didn't have enough intelligence to stop hating others over petty things in the grand scheme of the universe. Instead of exploring the stars, we were fighting amongst ourselves. A wasteful war between the Empire and the Rebellion, as that's what they called themselves. It all began with the rise of Sierra Virga, ruler of the world. She was a brilliant microbiologist and chemist who invented the cure to COVID 19. She managed to win the elections and changed our democratic government into a repressive dictatorship where only she held power. She controlled her people with the lure of the vaccine. The people who obeyed her received what they were promised, and even then, the vaccine had to be taken once a month. This ensured that she had a firm hand over the people. She ensured measures which stopped the people from expressing their thoughts against the government. Many people had gone to what she liked to call her dungeon, never to be seen or heard of again. Thanks to the restrictions on the vaccine and the healthcare as a whole, the people against her were forced to contribute in some way or form. If they didn't obey these rules, they were put in the dungeon for years at a time where they were at her mercy. The people against this rule had formed a rebellion, phantom troop, against this brutal and oppressive system of government. They were trying to dispose of the dictator and return to how it was before, back when their opinions actually mattered. Yet, even by 2051, her rule hadn't been overthrown, and now her country included most of the world. In 2051, a chain of events took place which changed the course of history forever. The scientists of the rebellion found a way to travel back in time.
We have called this meeting to inform everybody of the event that took place in the lab this morning. We have definitely proof that a machine works. I am proud to announce that we are able to travel back in time.
travel back in time. I don't want to waste any more time than what is needed. We owe it to all those who are imprisoned in the dungeons. We must take haste to save our fellow citizens.
Again, why we couldn't just go back to when the dictator was a kid and,
Like I have said on multiple occasions, the dictator only rose to power due to the tension-filled political and economical situation. If we were to go back in time and kill this dictator, another one would rise to power. So what we need to do is to prevent this situation from happening at all. The major incident that we need to alter is the way in which India got its independence. If you took your classes, you would know why. But I am definitely not going to explain it to an unkept audience.
the thing that gets killed.
The rebellion had planned to send two people to the past. Both were to go back to 1930s where they would try to change how Indians got their independence. They were given a list of exact...
Dude, stop. They're supposed to see the story, not hear it.
You ready? You know what to do, right?
Yeah, try to influence the past and change one of the most iconic freedom struggles and not screw things up. Peace.
Well, good luck. Hey, what year is this and what is this place's name?
ये 1917 का भारत है। भगवान, मुझे नहीं पता कि आप लोग ने भारत को कैसे जीत लिया।
For Christ's sake, no one was bothered enough to mention that everybody spoke in Hindi during the 1940s. Now I have to learn Hindi to do stuff here.
Weren't they supposed to have translators in their pockets?
They probably do, but I don't think they've realized it.
Then they probably have an IQ lower than yours, and that's saying something.
Keep quiet and continue with the story.
So they're trying to learn.
मेरे नाम है. What the heck does that even mean?
It means how are you? We are getting nowhere like this. We need to understand what.
No swearing. This kid is meant for all ages. I'll agree with you on that one. Maybe you should just try to influence the main leaders, the ones that actually speak English.
But what about the plan and their training?
Abandon the plot line probably. And you call yourself the smart one.
Fine, I'll predict the future then. They'll go to Gandhi. He's basically the Starbucks of the movement after all. Literally can't go anywhere without hearing about him.
You got yourself a bet.
They both tracked down Mahatma Gandhi and managed to get him alone for a few minutes. See, I told you right.
I'll pay up after the story and I'll continue the story from here on out.
It's my turn.
But you keep interrupting the story.
They tell Gandhi about the future and how they will attain freedom, but they get partitioned in the process. They tell him how this partition results in the tension-filled beginning of the 21st century, and when COVID spreads to all parts of the world, the people take part in riots against the government, depose it, and hold a re-election. The dictator, with her invention of the vaccine, manages to win the elections. She also unites the country against Pakistan in order to ensure the unity of the country and that she remains in power.
To ensure that the country doesn't get partitioned during the movement for freedom.
So, as I was saying, wouldn't it be better if you go and try to convince the younger dictator instead? No one is born evil. It's the experiences of a person that converts them into good or evil. There's a fine line between a leader and a dictator. I feel as though she would be better leader if she knew. The truth always wins. If I can save an entire country with it, you should be able to change Sierra.
He actually followed the script.
Yeah, I think he did. I think it's time we do too.
Okay, so main characters are leaving 9040 after thanking and trying to warn Gandhi about his murder in the future, to which he replies,
Whatever happens should happen because that's my time to rest. My elimination is inevitable at that point. I hope to see my brothers and sisters fighting our enemies instead of each other.
They arrive at a house. The house is a bit old and has had its fair share of wear and tear. They see young Syra through the window. She does not see them.
I feel like if we were to approach her and tell her we are from the future and you're going to be a very angry dictator, she'll just.
That may happen. Maybe you should survey her and try to find a better way to approach her.
So, we're stalking.
No, surveillance.
No, Sarah, you can't go out and play. You must study. Can't you be more like Spencer? He gets full marks in every single subject. Now go to your room and finish off your worksheets. Now!
Ma, please stop all this. I don't want to be set as an example for anyone.
See? Why can't I just be myself and have some fun for once?
I've done so much to raise you. This is all for your future. Don't you dare scream at me.
I don't want to be like Spencer. I just want to be myself.
Always on the TV. Go study. Otherwise, you won't be able to take care of us in the future.
What are you going to do about your future if you're like this?
When I grow up, I want to be free. Free from all these rules and marks.
Maybe we shouldn't do it right now.
So, what do you mean?
Well, obviously she does not like to be controlled. So if we were to approach her, she'd either be scared or she'd ignore her. Hell, she probably thinks that we were the one that's controlling her.
So, what do? We go 10 more years into the future?
That's not a bad idea. Hey, Sierra, I'm Seamus and this is my colleague Davina. And we are from the future.
Cool. Could you pass me that book over there, please? We aren't kidding, Sierra. We are actually from the future.
Sure. And I'm Captain Marvel.
Fine then. We went to the past you, Thought we'd talk to you first, but we understood that you had controlling parents instead.
Who doesn't? But your parents weren't just controlling, were they? They would always compare you to others. Spencer, to be specific.
What? Who are you? What kind of background check did you run on me?
Maybe the sentence, what about the future, made on your memory? Like we said before, we are from the future and the vaccine that you're developing, it's gonna work. And it's gonna be successful in defeating COVID.
But that's good, right? So why are you here?
You also become the emperor of the world and ended up becoming one of the worst dictators of all time.
That can't be true. I don't believe you.
You managed to pass the Sovereignty Act, which made India a dictatorship. You went after everything else. You did what you hated the most. You controlled others.
What are you even wearing? You are the craziest guys I have ever arrested. Someone took Bentley too seriously. I see.
It's like that one quote. When you gaze into the abyss gazes back to you.
You forgot the first half, idiot.
I don't want power. I don't want to control others. I just want to be free.
I don't think we could do much more than that. I mean, you even said a quote from a guy with the over-the-top mustache. I just want to go home at this.
Wasn't the story so cool? Oh, I wish to become a scientist when I grow up.
Oh, come on, guys. How do you think I am? Time travel and Mahatma Gandhi?